I don't remember who coined the term first, or like the idea that in business, if you want to make so you have a yearly goal for your earning. If you want to make $1 million a year, it's easier than $100,000 a year. Now, I don't think that's very true, or at least that's not my experience. I don't know. I haven't done that. I haven't done neither of them. But the interesting part is that the reasoning behind it is that if you ask yourself the $100,000 a year question, all right, that's around like 10,000 a month. If you worked very hard on something, you could achieve it. For example, if you had a local business and you could manage it all by yourself by just working very hard, uh, like very very hard, but you could do it. But a million, you need to start asking like different questions. Like for example, you need to hire. Typically, you cannot do it on your own. You need to bring skills and other questions that you wouldn't have if you were just thinking, okay, I'm gonna just grind and get to that number of 10K a month, something like that. Now, that's I'm not talking about business here. I wanted to talk about more like content creation and about the fact that I see this very true when it comes to just me when I create content. The fact that for me it's easier to make a video a day rather than once a week, for example, or once a month. Um, it's easier for me to I publish, for example, a weekly art newsletter that I publish every Tuesday morning, and it's easier for me to do it once a week than once every 6 months, for example. And I'm gonna explain why. It's because it's two reasons. First of all, it's forced you to ask different questions, and typically, first thing you need to think about is, for example, if I need to do a video once a month instead of once a day, like I'm doing right now, I will have a lot more expectation. I cannot just because it's once a month. I wouldn't just open the camera and just start talking without a script or anything. So I will need to make a script. If you make once a month, you only have one shot a month to hit the algorithm or get value to your audience or whatever is your goal. So you would need to, do research, do video editing, like much more that I'm doing now. So you need to cut. You need to think about the retention graph and making sure that if you have one shot a month, you need to make sure that your ID is very good, typically. So that creates just a lot more pressure. That makes it so that if you publish once a month, it's gonna be harder than publishing once a day. Typically, I can just wing those videos like this because I have an ID and I can just execute it in 10 minutes, the time it took me to record this one. Uh, and it feels very, very easy. I can do multiple a day and I don't feel like I'm straining myself typically. Um, another and about my newsletter, for example, typically I was chatting with someone who does a newsletter. I think every like 4 times a year or 2 times a year, every 6 months. I don't remember exactly, but to me it seems extremely hard, and I publish once a week typically. But the reason is that so not only you so what I just talked about is like the different expectation when it's come to quality, but there is also this big factor about the rhythm. But the reason I'm gonna go over it in another video, but the reason I'm consistent with my publishing schedule for my newsletter is because it's integrated into my week. I know that, for example, on Sunday I need to know very well what I'm going to write about. I need to start writing it so that I can finish it on Monday, and so it could be published the next day. If I didn't have this rhythm, if I didn't have this natural cycle with me, and I needed to summarize 3 months of work, 3 months, 6 months of work in one go, that would be very hard. Especially like, plus it would be an extra pressure on me to okay, I need to deliver now, and I need to compared to like I have one shot every week. If one issue is not that great, or if I didn't had like uh, something interesting, super interesting to say, and I just had some art that I did, it's not as bad as if I that was the case for a 3 months or 6 months update. So difference in pressure, difference in rhythm. Typically for those video as well, it's very, like I said, it's very easy for me to make. While I still find that they are very, while I still can come, I still can use and bring a point forward with those. It's not like throwaway or something. So I'm trying to, I lost my train of thought. Um, but it's really much, yeah, it would be harder for me to publish less frequently. So last point also, and about those videos, is that I can batch because of the lowered expectation, lowered just barrier to entry that you need to ask that you need to put in place because it's a daily thing. Because the rhythm constrains your possibility, you can also do batch recording. So I'm not trying to hide it at all. I have the same shirt on multiple videos, and that's the reason is that I made multiple recording the same day or the same hour, and yeah, it allows. I couldn't do that if I wanted to post a video a week, for example. That would be very hard. I will have more pressure to try to change it to make it less obvious. But for a daily video, I don't really care about that. So yeah, that's the reason. I think that's a very interesting way to see it. Is that if you put the bar higher when it's come to frequency or your goal, you start to ask yourself question that you wouldn't have if you had lowball yourself and do something more reasonable, and you end up having it easier. And I just think that's very interesting.